I'm doing my persuasive speech on murders being released early or pardoned. One of the final acts of Haley Barbour, former governor of Mississippi, was to pardon over a dozen convicted killers. Many of these killers were guilty of murdering their spouse or domestic partner. Many of these killers were deemed low risk to commit these type of crime again. The message that was given was that these lives lost weren't as important as others because they knew their victims. Convicted murderers should not be rewarded by being released early. Murderers should have to serve full sentence, and they should not be released based on the assumption that they will not kill again because of the nature of their crime. Murderers should have to serve full sentence because taking a human life should not be taken lightly. They should not be rewarded for murder by being released early. According to Judge Halt's Mississippi Pardons over Uproar 2012, Haley Barbour pardoned over 12 dozen convicted murderers before leaving office. In some instances, the convicted murderers were serving a life sentence and were pardoned as if they had never committed a crime, or as if crime was irrelevant, and some had already served their sentence. According to Haley Barbour Pardons Mississippi Supreme Court Rules, pardons are valid 2013. When he pardoned all these criminals, he wiped their charges clean, and they had the rights as everyone else. I don't think that if you've been convicted of a murder that you should have the same rights as other people who haven't. Murderers should not be released on the assumption that they will not kill again because of the nature of the crime. I'm sure many of the victims' parents and friends thought that the people that were convicted of these crimes would have never done it in the first place, but they did. So why should we assume that they wouldn't do it again? I saw on the news the other night where they had interviewed the mother of the two men that were at fault for the bombing in Boston. She said that they didn't do it, but the remaining men had told the investigators that he and his brother were to blame. One of the released inmates was serving a life sentence for killing his estranged wife as she held her one-year-old child. He left the child in a pool of blood by his mother after he had shot her friend too, which survived. Another one of the murderers shot his wife in the back after an argument. This person was released on the assumption that he would not commit this crime again. But how do we know that? He can easily go get into another argument with someone else and kill them. Some of the murderers released were David Glenn Gatlin. 1993, Gatlin reportedly drove 9 hours to shoot and kill his estranged wife, Tammy Gatlin, who held their infant son, reports Jackson Free Press. Anthony McCrary, convicted of killing his wife, Jennifer McCrary, in 2001, according to CNN reports. Patricia L. Simpson, who shot and killed her husband, Donald Simpson, in 2003. Simpson served 3 years before she was pardoned. Pardoned in 2008 was Bobby Hayes Clark, convicted of manslaughter for shooting and killing his former girlfriend. Veronica Connor, reports Jackson Free Press. Paul Joseph Warnock murdered his girlfriend, 18-year-old Carol Ann Hall, in 1989, according to Jackson Clarion Ledger. According to Biloxi Sun-Herald, Michael Davy Graham stalked his ex-wife for 3 years before finally shot her to death with a 12-gauge shotgun at a red light in 1989. Clarence Jones murdered his ex-girlfriend, 22-year-old Carla M. Smith, in 1992. According to the Jackson Free Press, Smith had filed multiple assault and trespassing charges against Jones before her death. Jones waited for her in her apartment on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day and killed her by stabbing her 22 times. Victor C. Collins, convicted of fatally beating his girlfriend, Peggy Campbell, with a tree branch in 1994, according to Sun-Herald. Campbell's body was found in a pile of leaves. And Jimmy Lee Avera, according to the Sun-Herald, in 1992, Avera shot and killed his estranged girlfriend, Tabitha Ann Sparks, 24, when she was pregnant, and while her 2 children were at home with her. He fired 11 shots, including one in the back as she tried to run away. Avera had been granted parole before Barber pardoned him in 2008. According to 8 of the murderers Haley Barber pardoned killed their wives, girlfriends, 2012. Murderers should not be rewarded and released after what they have done. They should have to serve the full sentence that they were issued. It should not be assumed that murderers will not kill again based on the nature of their crimes. If criminals are not going to serve their full sentence, then why are they issued the sentence at all? Brown, 2012. This is a graph that shows 8 per every 100,000 people in Mississippi that died were murdered. And Mississippi is ranked second